Welcome back. It's 15 minutes after 1 o'clock. You're watching the first hour of the Monday edition of the Midday View on ENCA DSTV channel 403. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, could anyone who's been fined for not wearing a mask use Nkandla, or what we saw taking place in Nkandla this weekend, to argue their criminal case? We asked this question, of course, after thousands of supporters of the former President Jacob Zuma flocked to Nkandla yesterday. The majority of them, as you saw on television, were not wearing their masks. And that's in contravention with the latest COVID-19 regulation, which states that a person not wearing a mask in public can be arrested, fined, or imprisoned. Well, let's discuss this now with legal expert Marius du Toit. Marius, good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday View. For me, what stood out about what we witnessed in Nkandla this weekend, before we discuss this question that we're posing now to you as a legal expert, was a glaring lack of law enforcement.
Yeah, and I think the difficulty is that we as the public at large can expect the South African Police Services to uniformly apply the law, Dan. The fact that they don't do so, of course, creates a perception that in some instances it's allowed, in other instances it isn't. And it's simply unacceptable. I think at the end of the day, we at the very least should be able to rely on the fact that the disaster management regulations will be applied the same for all of us.
Consistently, because that also will speak to the fairness of the law.
Absolutely, Dan. You know, at the end of the day, when I travel outside the hours of curfew, I should expect to be arrested and not get away with it. The same applies to anybody else. If I don't wear my mask willfully in public, well, then I should expect, irrespective of who I think I might be, I should expect that the South African Police Services are entitled to arrest me and take me to a police station, be charged, and if convicted, I should get a criminal record. The fact that there's 100 supporters with me or 1,000 supporters with me not wearing their masks doesn't negate the fact that the law is being breached and that the South African Police Services should have acted positively by effecting arrests and removing people, whether it was due to their own safety concerns or trying to not create a stampede of some sort or a complete disarray outside the premises of the former president. Maybe that was a motivation, that they did not want a situation like that, public order being disturbed. But having said that, that should never be the motivation for the South African Police Services not applying the law the same for everybody.
Yeah, I think that's a challenge because the level 4 lockdown restrictions are very clear about gatherings in public and also about the wearing of masks. Now, having witnessed what I saw in Nkandla, anybody else, and could I use that as a defense if I was now today arrested for not wearing a mask in public? Can I turn around and say, but you allowed it in Nkandla yesterday, leave me alone?
Yeah, you might try it, Dan, but I somehow don't think you will succeed. One of the elements of a crime is knowledge of wrongfulness. So if I, by the conduct of leaders, create the perception that it's okay to transgress the law in this regard and that I will not be arrested, well, that could be a plausible argument in court. But the reality of it is the disaster regulations are clear. The disaster regulations state specifically that I must wear my mask when I'm outside my offices or outside my home, and there's no ifs and buts and maybes attached to it. So if I breach the law, I should be expected to be prosecuted. And the fact that I want to say, but listen, you did not arrest so-and-so on the day when they did it is of no concern. The fact that other people get away with crime doesn't mean to say that my crime is condoned. And for that reason, I have to comply whether I like it or not.
Thank you very much, Marius du Toit, making it very clear there. You have to comply with the law in this particular case, regardless of the scenes you might have witnessed playing themselves out this past weekend outside the former president's home in Nkandla.